Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and welcome to my channel if you are new here, and welcome back to Beacon Pines. So funny story, you'll notice that I already have the flight option chosen, and there's a whole new branched path. I may or may not have recorded this whole episode without actually recording. Which is unfortunate because I believe that is the only place back here. Yep, so the ending of this branch path that I just recorded without recording is where we are choosing our next thing. But obviously you guys didn't see where that branched path started, so I will be going through this again. I'm gonna try and kind of breeze through it rather quickly though, since I do know what happens more or less. I won't skip over any important parts, but I am gonna breeze through it just so we get to where we need to go and so that you have some context for the next choice branched path. In this branched path, we were being surrounded by Kerr and his minions of clipboards, and we had chosen to fight in a previous episode, and that led us nowhere, so in this round we are choosing flight.
Luka drew himself up and decided to take the only option they had left. Flight. He squinted down the barrel of the mission control defense cannon, aiming it through an opening in the dense tree branches. He looked up with surprise as it struck true and taut.
Wow, I can't believe that worked. Hey, Mr. Kerr, we'd love to hear your thoughts, but I'm afraid we have places to be. Come on, Iggy. See ya, jerks. Fine, we know where that leads them. This way, we'll take the tunnels.
Luka and Iggy winced as they sprinted through the thicket. The branches clawed at them, reluctant to give passage. After what felt like a marathon, Luka stopped in his tracks as they reached the clearing. What the? That was all he was able to say before Iggy slammed into his back. The boys tumbled down a steep decline and crashed with a wheezing thud on a surface as hard as ice. In fact, it was ice. Chapter 5. Signs. They stood silently, catching their breath. The sky was like sapphire. With each breath, a plume of steam escaped from Luka's lungs. Let's keep moving. Luka pulled Iggy to his feet as they gazed across a snowy terrain.
That was actually pretty badass. I think we lost him. Are we up in the mountains? I don't think so. If anything, we went downhill. Then what's up with the Winter Wonderland? All I know is there's no going back the way we came. Let's see if we can get our bearings. Follow me. Oh, I can see this.
A disc of smooth metal was lightly covered in snow. Two faint seams were visible along the surface.
A manhole cover? If it is, I've never seen one like it. Okay, I didn't get anything out of that, but I didn't see that last time. Luka, are you there?
Luka had almost forgotten the walkie-talkie he was carrying.
It's that bozo Kerr. I hope nothing bad has happened to you out in those woods.
Luka looked at Iggy with hesitation.
No need to be rude.
With a resigned sigh, Luka responded.
It seems like the only dangerous thing in the woods is you. He speaks, the young man of the hour. Now, how in tarnation did you end up with one of our radios? Just lucky, I guess. Boy, howdy, you Van Horns are full of surprises, aren't you? You knew my parents? I never had the honor of meeting your father, but your mom sure was a handful.
Luka winced, shoving the walkie-talkie back into his pocket.
We gotta keep moving. I don't believe there's anything else I could do. What's the readout? Sitting just above 258 Kelvin, which is really freaking cold. That's down a bit from last time. Should we report this to Mr. Kerr? Meh, still within safe ranges. It may be spreading, but it's under control for now. Even a small nudge in the equilibrium could cause a cascade. Dude, relax. Just a few more sites to hit before we can punch out. Let's get this over with.
What's all this?
Hard to say with all the snow.
I think it's a town sign. I can almost make out letters under there.
What town could this even be? We know from the previous episode that this is the source. This is another Beacon Pines, or the original Beacon Pines. There couldn't be another town this deep into Weepwood.
I'm looking at evidence to the contrary. Let's figure out what we're dealing with here. Step 1, snow's gotta go.
I'll see what I can do.
And whoosh!
The boys stared in disbelief at the sign that now clearly read, "Welcome to Beacon Pines."
This doesn't make any sense.
We're in Beacon Pines?
How's that possible? We ran away from town. How did we get back here?
Because there's two of them. I guess we got turned around. No, there's two of them.
Where did all the snow come from?
Well, it's been colder than normal lately.
That's a pretty big difference between sweater weather and this Arctic hellscape.
The puddle we fought at before, it was cold too. Maybe all of it leads to one source. The source.
You think it's related? What the hell is going on?
We're gonna give you some answers. Let's keep moving.
The fencing glistened, each chain link encapsulated with a translucent layer of ice.
Looks like the stuff they put up around Weepwood.
The stuff who put up?
I don't know.
Does stuff look familiar to you?
It looks like the barrel near the puddle
shoved me into, yeah. It's all frozen.
Looking down at the frozen stream, Luka could faintly see a school of minnows encased in the ice.
Whatever happened here, it happened fast. The fish didn't even have time to run. Or, swim, run.
The crunching of footsteps trailing Luka went hush. He looked back to see Iggy's face twisted with confusion.
Everyone's gone.
What?
There's nothing here but more snow.
There must be an explanation for all this. We have to keep looking.
You can look all you want. I quit.
Iggy, we have to keep going.
You don't get it, do you? This isn't one of your pathetic Hank Atomic stories. We aren't going to save the day. We aren't even going to save ourselves. My face is mangled. The town is destroyed, and everyone we've ever known is gone.
We don't know that. You can't just quit.
Do whatever you want. I'm done.
Iggy, it's gonna be okay.
Luka peered upward at the darkening sky. He let out a long, foggy breath. Faintly, Iggy began to cry.
Aww.
Seeing Iggy in such a pathetic state gave Luka a sense of compassion, and more than a little guilt.
It is getting pretty late, I think. Probably not a great idea to stumble around in the dark anyway.
Luka allowed himself to collapse next to Iggy.
Let's just rest for a bit.
The boys huddled together for warmth and comfort. If not for exhaustion, their minds would be racing, trying to make sense of the events of the day. As it was, all they had energy for was to sit in silence, numb.
And then they froze to death. No, I'm just kidding.
The way the snow covered everything over, it's kind of calming.
Yeah.
I haven't had time to say it, but thanks. Huh? For getting us away from those creeps. I sort of froze up back there.
Iggy, I should be the one apologizing. This all happened because I lost my temper.
Nah, that's bull hockey. First of all, you didn't know what that gunk would do. You didn't, right?
Of course not.
And second, stop with this baloney about losing your temper.
But I did lose my temper.
Iggy motioned sarcastically to his half-deformed face.
Obviously. But that's exactly what you should have done.
Huh?
I was being a horse's ass. You were supposed to be a horse's ass in response. That's how it works.
Iggy, I'm having a hard time following. You wanted me to fight you?
Of course. Geez, you goody two-shoe types take forever to understand this very basic point.
Why would you go around saying cruel things trying to get into fights?
Iggy shrugged.
It's something to do.
You're an asshole because you're bored?
Sometimes I just feel empty. You wouldn't understand. You and Rolo are always having a blast together, laughing and calling that dinky little treehouse mission control.
Wept openly.
Perfect little Luka Van Horn. With this perfect little life.
My life is not perfect.
Everybody in town likes you.
Not everybody.
Hell, that new girl hasn't even unpacked yet, and even she already likes you.
You have Tish?
He wiped his nose with a sleeve.
I love Tish. Tish is great. But she ain't exactly the world's greatest conversationalist, you know?
Luka gave a warm chuckle.
I get that impression.
Iggy cleared his throat as he wiped his eyes.
Huh, it must be raining out here. Definitely.
Iggy arched into a wide yawn.
We should probably try to get some sleep.
Yeah.
Let's lay low for now. Tomorrow we'll get to the bottom of all this.
Luka's eyelids began to slowly drift shut.
Luka,
Yeah?
I always did want to see the inside of your dinky little treehouse.
What do you think?
Not bad.
I'll give you the full tour when we get back.
You know what?
Huh.
That's all Luka could whisper before succumbing to sleep. Iggy snuggled in some more.
When it comes to worst days of my entire life, this one wasn't half bad.
The house smelled of warm bread. Luka was playing with toy blocks on the living room rug. He looked up to see his parents on the couch. His mother held his father's head in her lap. She idly stroked his hair while humming a song. A voice behind Luka spoke. "This is how you remember them, huh?" Luka turned to see his own face, the doppelganger from his dreams, still clad in a yellow hazmat suit, still carrying a look of disdain behind empty eyes. "Aw, look at this perfectly cozy scene. You know it wasn't really like this." The figure picked up a toy block and inspected it. "It's amazing the facades that one can build given the right material. Not that I blame us. These are a child's memories, all warm and fuzzy. You don't remember, do you?" Luka snatched the block from the figure's yellow-gloved hand. "Remember what?" The doppelganger pointed to the couch. "The last day we saw him alive. The day he chose to abandon us." Luka turned to look at his father, still lounging on the couch. "That's not true. He didn't abandon us." The doppelganger waved his hand dismissively. "Everything is true here. It's just a matter of what we choose to see. Well, let me show you." The world flickered and pulsed. Luka was sitting next to his bed, listening to his heartbeat with one of his dad's stethoscopes. The doppelganger limped into the room. Now, we both know that's not how this went." He grabbed Luka's hand and guided the stethoscope to the floor. Luka heard muffled shouting, brought close by the stethoscope. It was his parents, fighting. "Do you remember what we did next?" Luka gave a slow nod and crept down the hall to peek through the banister. He could see the outline of his mother at the bottom of the stairs. "Damn it, Walt. We can't afford to get involved in this." She was scared. His father stepped forward. "What am I supposed to do? Just watch? There's a sickness in this town, and we both know who's behind it. I swore an oath to help people. I won't turn my back on them." Luka's mother grabbed Walt. She was crying, pleading. I can't lose you. Walt calmly removed Eleanor's hand from his shoulder. What's right is right, and what's wrong is wrong. I could never live with myself if I let Sharper get away with this. Eleanor raised her voice. Spare me your bullshit platitudes. What about our son? Luka flinched, dropping the stethoscope down the stairs. Walt turned with a panicked smile. Luka, is that you, buddy? With tears in his eyes, Luka descended the stairs. Mom? Dad? What's going on? Walt dropped to a knee to meet Luka eye to eye. Nothing, buckaroo. Your mom and I just got a little overexcited is all. Luka placed the stethoscope against his father's chest. His heart was racing. It sounded like you were going somewhere. Walt gently removed the device from Luka's ears. Listen to me, Luka. I have some business to take care of. I'll be back in time to tuck you in. Luka hugged his father tightly. Promise? Walt stood up and walked to the door. He glanced over his shoulder. I promise.
And it was a lie.
With a wink and a grin, he put on his hat and strode out into the evening sun. A figure approached soundlessly from the foggy snowfall. It stood above them, lingering in contemplation. Slowly raising one hand above Iggy, it snapped out 2 brisk raps on his head. From a deep slumber, Iggy sprang up defensively.
Iggy's head sounds like a door.
Get your hands off me!
Whether it was the calming presence or the recognition that he was not in danger, Iggy felt his clenched fists lower.
Just what do you think you're doing?
Luka looked up, gradually remembering his whereabouts. The figure exhaled a cloud of warm vapor.
You two certainly have caused a lot of commotion.
What's that supposed to mean?
Take it easy, Iggy.
We were asleep, minding our own business. You're the one running around knocking on people's heads.
I'm sorry if I hurt you, Iggy.
You didn't hurt nobody.
Anybody.
Huh? Oh, I see. You think you're better than me.
When it came to complete strangers, Iggy had trouble cobbling together an insult.
You big-hatted, scarfy-necked furball.
Adorable little furball. Okay, let's lower the temperature a bit here. Interesting choice of words. I mean, let's all just calm down. Who are you? A friend. An observer. A hitchhiker on the infinite expanse of possibility. Great. How about a name? If you must call me something, you can call me Natt.
Iggy huffed with gratification.
How about you make like a gnat and buzz off?
Very well.
Natt began to turn away indifferently.
Wait. Do you live here? You might say that. So, you know where we are? You might also say that.
Look, pal, we just want to find a safe way out of here. You gonna help us or not?
Before knowing how to leave, one must know where they are.
Alright, that does it. Luka, I don't know about you, but I'm getting out of here, one way or another.
Iggy turned sharply and began to stomp off.
Enough with the riddles. Iggy, wait up.
Realizing he'd worn their patience then, Natt relented.
Very well. I suppose this isn't the time for metaphors. I'll show you how to get back home.
Luka and Iggy turned around with hope in their eyes.
Come here.
Natt took a deep breath in.
Close your eyes.
Natt exhaled slowly, then snapped his fingers.
Okay, open them.
For a brief moment, Luka and Iggy let themselves believe that some great magic was about to unfold, until they opened their eyes and found themselves in the exact same place, cold and disheartened.
This is your home. This is Beacon Pines. Look, Natt, we don't know how we got here. Maybe we stumbled through some time travel gate in Weepwood, or we teleported to some alternate universe, or this is all just some cruel experiment by Kerr and his goons. But this is not our home. You're inching closer to the truth. Alas, the reality is much less fanciful.
Just give it to us straight.
So be it. As I said,
This is Pecan Pines. The original, true Beacon Pines. You both grew up here, but the town you've called your home for the last several years is a replica. A remarkable achievement of engineering, to be fair, but a replica nonetheless. That's impossible. It's too much work. You'd need a whole town to replicate a whole town. Indeed, to pull off such a feat would require immense labor power. That which could be moved would be moved. That which could not would require a precise duplicate. We would have noticed. Someone would have noticed. You'd think so, unless the auditing was impeccable. A mind-numbing attention to detail. As for the innumerable trivialities which complete the tapestry, well, you can leave that to this miraculous thing we call a brain. It has a real aversion to discontinuity, a revulsion even. The brain has a wonderful way of smoothing out the rough edges, keeping us sane.
Luka and Iggy looked around uncomfortably.
So you're saying that someone made an entire new town and moved us all and no one noticed?
Precisely.
But why?
Why is the one question that can never be answered with certainty. The best one can do is to uncover.
Natt narrowed his eyes, furrowed his brow, and uttered,
The source. Why'd you say the source like that?
Why indeed?
Luka began to laugh uncomfortably.
This is all ridiculous. There's no way they
He
could.
looked down at his feet. His eyes started back and forth in contemplation. With a sudden pain, a thought struck him.
If this really is home,
He sprinted off into the pale distance. As Iggy turned to follow, Natt called out,
Iggy, it's not too late to turn back. Simply head west through Weepwood.
Chapter 6.
So I said this in the recording that wasn't recorded, but I really hope they bring Natt back in other branches, because right now Natt kind of feels like a character where just shows up to tell you the whole thing, where Iggy and Luka could have realized those things without this character's help. So I really hope that they bring Natt back in other kinds of paths.
The source. Natt expressed his sympathy with a shrug and sauntered off as unassumingly as he'd arrived. He'd given Luka and Iggy what they needed, and nothing more. As Luka sprinted across the snow, the events of the past few days became clearer, pieces to a larger puzzle. Rollo said he was underground somewhere, captured. Mr. Kerr tried to cover it up with lies. The clipboards were hell-bent on capturing Iggy. It all seemed to point to perennial harvest. But right now, there was one thing that Luka needed to know. Luka stopped dead in his tracks. The tree was gone, uprooted and moved, leaving a raw gash in the earth.
And this was the moment where I was super uncomfortable. So I didn't realize that this place was his father's grave. And that meant that he's been celebrating his father's birthday not at his father's grave. It was the wrong grave. It was a replica.
He dropped to his knees and dug wildly at the cold snow. His numb hands hit something hard. A headstone. A dry whisper escaped Luka's lips.
You're here. All this time, I thought I was visiting you. But you've been here, alone, in the snow. Dad, I'm so sorry. They ruined your favorite spot in the world. Our favorite spot in the world. Dad, what do I do?
There was no reply, just snow-covered silence.
Why'd you give me the slip like that? What if I couldn't find you, you jerk?
Iggy finally noticed the tears welling in Luka's eyes and the snow-covered grave.
Oh.
Iggy, they stole his tree, Iggy.
Yikes.
Suddenly, they heard the crunch of approaching footsteps in the snow.
We gotta hide.
259K. Fall off distance, still good. Dude, did you hear me? I said 259. Sorry. You ever think about what we did here? We saved a whole town of people. Doesn't feel like it sometimes. What about everything we left behind? That's the grave of someone with a family. The people who love them will never know the truth. Well, now they do. Just not in the correct way. The truth is overrated. No, it's not.
He bent down to scoop up a snowball and lobbed it playfully.
Hey, don't be such a downer, dude. We took this job to change the world. Yeah. Come on. It's almost lunchtime. Weirdo.
Here, I thought I was a jerk. These dinguses are out here literally dancing on graves.
Luka stuttered through heaving sobs.
I thought I was visiting him. I thought he was with me.
Not gonna lie, that's a bad break. Here's some advice.
Iggy gave Luka a solid smack on the back of his head.
Hey! Who's any of this helping? What? Sitting here in the snow crying like some pushover. Who you helping?
Iggy, look what they did. They lied to everyone.
Blah, blah, blah. Luka Van Horn, you're a lot of things, but you ain't no pushover. What did I tell you before? When some jerk comes at you acting like a horse's ass,
I should stand up for myself.
hell yeah. Kerr and his merry little band of clipboards pulled off this switcheroo for a reason, right?
Natt mentioned something about a source.
Luka wiped his eyes with a sleeve.
Whatever's at the source must be awfully valuable to Perennial Harvest.
Sure would be a shame if something unfortunate were to happen to their precious source, wouldn't it?
What do you have in mind?
If it's small enough to steal, we snatch it.
It's not small enough to steal.
If it's too big to snatch, we smash it.
You can't smash it, it's a hole. And what if it's too big to smash?
Iggy flashed a mischievous smile and cracked his knuckles.
I'm always up for a challenge.
I'm gonna make this right, Dad. I promise. One thing to mention. It is important to stand up for yourself, but it is also important to validate your own emotions. Emotions are hard. You are correct for feeling them. But also stand up for yourself in the process. But don't just ignore your emotions. It can get awfully cold out there in those woods, Luka. Probably best you two stay put and conserve your energy. Help's on the way. Where's Rollo? Where's my mom? Did you kill her? Oh, heavens no. Do I seem like a killer to you? Yes.
Iggy and Luka shared a skeptical look.
Well, do I? Yes. Aw, shucks. Now that hurts my feelings. Good. Screw that guy.
Wait a minute. If this is the original town, then that means...
Iggy darted behind a large pine and began digging furiously. He emerged holding a shoebox with a crude skull painted on its lid.
What's that?
Story. So a few years back, I came into possession of some premium grade fireworks.
Did you steal them?
Not the wimpy firecracker stuff they give kids. The good stuff.
So why did you bury it under a tree?
That's the long part of the story. You and Rollo were doing some chores at Rollo's coop, and you guys pissed me off for some reason or another.
Luka rolled his eyes with realization.
No, you didn't.
Iggy stifled a chuckle.
Yep. I just wanted to give you guys a little scare. But, like I said, these were some primo fireworks. So I might have underestimated things.
You blew up the chicken coop?
I prefer to think of it as an incendiary redecoration. Sorry, but you should have seen the looks on your faces. Rolo got grounded for months, which is why I needed to stash the evidence and lay low. So I buried him under that tree. But when I came back for him later, they were gone. I figured some grown-up found him and tossed him.
Iggy triumphantly raised the shoebox.
Turns out it wasn't the fireworks that got moved, it was the whole town. Unbelievable. Do you think this is a game? Newsflash, boyo. You're not a hero. You're a little brat who is in way over his head. A hero is just someone who refuses to give up. Comics these days are rotting children's brains. Everyone thinks they're a spaceman superhero. I was always partial to Hank Atomic myself. Is that so? Do you really think you have a chance against us? You have no idea how powerful we are. Prepare for blast-off, loser. Crooked. Just like this whole stinking place. And that was where we got, a crooked badge, essentially. But I don't know where we're using it yet.
Luka and Iggy inched up to the edge of the hole with bewilderment in their eyes. Arctic air breathed out of the cavern in heaving gusts.
Echo, 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 echo. Whoa. I can see why they wanted to move us all out of town now. But why would they dig a giant hole? I think this is it. This is the source? It's a dang hole? How do we smash a hole? Oh, it's much more than that, my annoying little friend. Kerr, where's Rolo? I wasn't lying before. He's safe. Well, safer than you two, at least. Drats, it's cold. You just had to drag me all the way out here, didn't you?
Mr. Kerr gazed down the abyss in contemplation.
It's really something, isn't it?
What did you do to our town? What is all of this?
Well, that's a doozy of a question. This is the source, where they collect the unrefined,
Kerr scratched the back of his head.
Honestly, boys, I don't understand any of this well enough to explain it. Fact of the matter is, I'm not paid to know.
What do you mean you don't know? Ain't you in charge?
Oh, heavens no. My role is merely to flash a winning smile and manage various complications. Complications like us? You are a smart boy.
His face contorted into a saccharine grin.
It really is nothing personal. Some people are destined to strive for greatness, and others are simply obstacles along the way.
Seems like you were destined to be a creepy lackey.
The point is that we all play our part in life. Mine just happened to be a lead in the role of a lifetime, and you happen to be extras ready for your curtain call.
We aren't giving up without a fight. Your smile's not gonna be so winning after we're done with you.
Now, boys, there's no need for melodrama. It makes even a professional such as myself embarrassed for you. Let's change the mood a bit.
Kerr snapped his fingers.
Scene change. There, that's better. Deal with them.
Iggy turned to Luka with a sly glance.
Why are you smirking?
Because I have a box full of fireworks and you don't.
Iggy waved the box into the air, threatening to drop it down the hole.
Stop. Let's not do something regrettable.
Joke's on you. Regret is one of my specialties. Out of curiosity, what would happen if I threw these in your precious hole?
Nothing at all. You're a terrible liar. I'll have you know, I'm an exceptional liar.
That's far enough.
Iggy plucked a single bottle rocket from the box and held it up with reverence.
Stop, you fool! Call off your goons.
After a long pause, Mr. Kerr flung up his hand with frustration.
Very well. You all can head back for the night. It's been a long day. I'll handle these two from here.
Mr. Kerr sighed into the frigid air.
It's just us now, Iggy. You can put that down.
What, like this?
With a nonchalant flick, Iggy tossed the firework into the hole.
Ooh.
Whoa.
With a growl, Kerr leapt at Iggy, crashing. Iggy tried to twist away, but in the struggle they both tumbled over the side. Luka dove forward, bracing Iggy's hand just before it slipped. His grip was made precarious by the cold, wet snow. He could see Kerr further down, clinging to Iggy's coat.
You reckless child, what have you done?
Luka, listen to me. Hold on tight and use the walkie-talkie to call them back. What channel do I use?
It doesn't make a damn difference, they're always listening. If you do that, the clipboards will just haul us up and snag us both. The only way you get out of this is if Kerr's out of the picture. Just let go and save yourself.
If he lets go, we both die.
I don't want to die, but seeing the look on your face almost makes it worth it.
Mr. Kerr, you've had a long life. He's not that old. Why don't you actually do something selfless and just let go?
Mr. Kerr gasped with insult.
Long life? I'll have you know I can still play 25. You should have heard me sing the part of Phileas Young.
With a wild look in his eye, Mr. Kerr began to hum a proud melody.
He's going crazy.
Wow, can you believe this guy?
Luka's hand began to cramp. His voice began to crack.
Fun fact, the humming part that Mr. Kerr just did gave us the badge hum. Which was really random for this scene and the emotion behind this scene, and I died laughing. Kerr, just let go. No can do. If you want to save your friend, you'll have to save me too.
Luka, look at me. It's okay.
Luka felt Iggy loosen his grasp.
You aren't going to kill your friend like that, are you?
Every muscle in Luka's body burned.
I'm not his friend.
Yes, you are.
Nah, I'm just a no-good bully. Like you, Kerr.
Iggy, no.
Luka felt his hand slipping.
And I told you what you need to do with bullies.
I can't.
It's your only way out of this mess. 2 birds with 1 stone. It makes sense for us to fall together. Wackadoos travel in packs.
A calm settled over Iggy's face.
Luka, let me do this.
Iggy's voice was colder than the bitter air billowing from the chasm.
Let me do the right thing for once.
Then I was given a choice. I am gonna go ahead and choose the same one that I did. Choose the same one that I did during the recording that didn't record, just so you guys can see what that looked like, and then we can come immediately back and do the refuse one.
Luka had no choice but to accept Iggy's request. With a quiet blink, Luka watched a teardrop sail down into the howling void. As his fingers slowly gave up, he met eyes with Iggy. The 2 silhouettes were swallowed by darkness.
Wow, fireworks. That he had nothing to light with. So I don't know how they're, going off right now. But that's okay, it's the moment. Hell of a goodbye, Iggy. Luka, you should really step back. What? quickly. Curious. But of course. Those fireworks of Iggy's must have just been the right amount of energy. We should get out of here before perennial harvest arrives. Not until you tell me what just happened. Your friend's sacrifice just saved this town. For a little while, anyway. How? Tempest liquimine is this peculiar substance. It can change the relationship between matter and time itself, but doing so requires unfathomable energy. In a closed system, that energy can only come from its surroundings, a useful side product of this property being, by adding precisely the correct amount of energy to it, one can create a cryogenic cascade. So, the gunk makes things cold and the fireworks made the whole freeze over? That's one way of putting it, yes. As dumb luck would have it, the fireworks weren't strong enough to generate a runaway reaction. I shudder to think what would have already happened. I shudder to think what would have happened in that case. We've already seen what happens in that case.
We have some idea what that would look like.
There you go. It will take them a good while to safely break through and access the source again. If you know all of this stuff, why haven't you been helping? I have been, in my way. Each one of us has our role to play. Iggy's role, it turns out, was to buy us precious time. Mine has been to observe and wait. Wait for what? You. Me? Why? What's my role?
A fierce twinkle flashed in Natt's eyes.
Luka Van Horn, you are going to save the world.
With a chuckle, Natt turned and walked west. Dumbfounded, Luka followed behind him, trudging through the snow. Every step taking him further away from everyone and everything he knew, and closer to destiny. To be continued in Beacon Pines, Pines Harder. Revenge served cold. Second time's a charm? Wait, that's it? This ends with a crummy cliffhanger just when it was getting good? I was even starting to like Iggy. No way. I refuse to be associated with some never-ending parade of sequels. Let's go back and find something more definitive.
Okay, so that is where I'm going to leave it for this video. I'm sorry that I didn't record it the first time around, but now you have it now. And next time we go into this game, we will choose the refuse Iggy's offer to see what kind of path that leads us down.
Luka had no choice but to refuse Iggy's request. He tightened his grip and reached for the walkie-talkie in his pocket. A wild delight crept onto Mr. Kerr's face. That's a good lad. Now, radio for help. Iggy begged Luka with his eyes one last time, but Luka pressed the button and called out, We need help. Mr. Kerr is in danger. It wasn't long before they were once again surrounded by clipboards. Mr. Kerr sighed with relieved frustration. There you are. You really are a worthless lot, aren't you? Mirror, now. A clipboard dutifully produced an ornate ivory hand mirror, and Mr. Kerr began preening his tousled hair. Ah, that's better. Mr. Van Horn, I applaud your sharp thinking under duress. I'll put in a good word for you with the founder. Take them away.
The founder?
A swarm of hands overpowered Luka. The last thing he saw before a cloth bag was pulled over his head was the defeated look on Iggy's face. The end.
Oh. Well, okay then. I'm just gonna add this on to the last video because that was a 2-minute and 30-second recording. So I'm just gonna add this ending onto that one. You'll never know. Yeah.
I think this was one of those times where doing the right thing was the wrong thing.
The actual next video that you'll be seeing, we will go over to this other pathway here, which was Rollo and Beck and Luka were solving the mystery, and they found the source with Luka's grandmother trying to destroy it. And here is where we wept, but now we have the option to hum. So in the next video, we will do that choice. We still don't really know what is happening with Luka's mother. We can assume that she is either taken by Mr. Kerr and the flunkies, or she is actually the one in charge. Who knows? And I guess in the meantime, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, your week, your month, whatever, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!